The gameplay of Danganronpa is, first of all, a visual novel, kind of like the Zero Escape series that came before it. It has a react mechanic in which you can select text and either have someone else react to the text or yourself ask a question related to the text, which is a mechanic that is similar to mechanic you see in a previous game by the same developer, or by the same publishing company at least, at Spike Chunsoft, called 428 Shibuya Scramble, in which at certain points in the visual novel you can select text and it'll do one of two things. Either it will give you a definition of a certain term that is in the story, or it will allow you to shift to a different character but at the same exact time in the story. There is a detective portion of the game where you are gathering clues and eventually you'll put them together in the class trial, just like Ace Attorney style. There are several, except unlike Ace Attorney, there are several trial minigames that happen, including non-stop debates, which are basically the highlight of the game series itself, where you are given a bunch of words fly on the screen, spoken by all the characters, and you need to shoot a truth bullet or a clue at their words to either, or in this game scenario, you have to disprove what someone says. Say, like, if you have someone saying, this was the murder weapon, but you have a clue that says, oh no, this was clearly the murder weapon, then you'll use your truth bullet against their words. The next mini game is Hangman's Gambit, which is basically just a game of Hangman. In this particular game, though, the way it works is you have to click on the letter you want to put in. Oh, and it has to be in order. You have to click on the letter you want to put in, but some of them take several hits depending on what color they are. Like if they're red, that means they're almost done. Then there is there are several dialogue choices throughout the class trials. You have to answer them correctly to progress. It's a multiple choice answer. However, some of the incorrect answers offer a little bit of comedic messages not voiced by the characters. Oh, if I didn't mention before, the daily life, or the part that is outside of the trial, is not voiced at all. The class trial, however, is voiced. And the next minigame we have to mention is the bullet time battle, which is basically a rhythm game where you have to aim at the target's words as they come flying at you. and then you have to shoot at them using your eventually limited bullets, which you have to reload to get more. But that comes later in the game mechanics anyway. Then we have the closing argument, which is a comic book that you will assemble, which goes over all of the basic important facts of the story or of the case. In terms of playability, it's pretty much perfect, other than the fact that some of the mini games require you to have a little bit of experience playing them before you can really understand how to get them done. The instructions, people don't really like to read instructions, especially if they're not voiced. Then we move on to sound. I can't really say much about sound effects. I'm not gonna say about anything about sound effects in any games unless they're horribly horrifying. But in terms of the soundtrack, it's got a bit of mix of techno, jazz, rock in there. You do hear a lot of brass sometimes and occasional guitar. Some of the execution tracks, however, are annoyingly copyright claimed by the developers of the official anime adaptation of the first game, which that particular one is literally just a copy of the events in the game. It's basically just the entire game, but cut down into a very short period of time. In terms of graphics, they are 2D completely, and in a cartoon anime style. Of course, because it's an anime game made by a Japanese developer. In terms of characters, there are, I'm just going to go through the main 16 students. The other characters don't really matter that much. Like the headmaster, I'm not going to mention them. Sayaka Maizono is the desperate pop singer with psychic powers. Mukuro is Junko's lucky sister, who I already said was murdered by Junko in the game. Leon is an angry baseball star. I should mention who kills who while I do this. So, Leon killed Sayaka, though Sayaka tried to kill Leon.
I see. It's true.
Chihiro is a cross-dressing programmer that makes an AI helpful for stopping Junko, both in this game and the next. Mondo is an aggressive and jealous biker gang leader. The former biker gang leader was his brother, who was killed in a race. And in this game, Mondo ends up killing Chihiro and executed for that, along with Leon. Leon got executed in the first trial as well. Taka is the student council member. Not much more to say about that. Hifumi is a flirty fanfic writer. Not much more to say about that either. Celeste, I'm just going to say 2 words. Poker face. They are a gambler who is very good at lying. or maybe not in the class trial. Maybe not good at lying in the class trial, but
Yeah.
I say overall in their life they would probably be better at lying.
Well,
Sakura is
But
a really jacked martial artist with a calm mind
simple. Just recall who's died here so far,
and ends up
and it
being
should become clear.
the mastermind's spy, but only because she was forced to, threatened with the end of her family. Hero is a dumb stoner con artist. He claims to be a psychic, but it's yet to see whether he is actually is actually good at his job. He says he gets his predictions right like 20 to 30% of the time.
So 10 people in all?
that's
Aoi
right. And you know,
is
they're no
a
mercenaries.
dumb and
You need
possibly
suspicious.
lesbian swimmer. Can't tell exactly.
But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored
Not about
there.
the swimmer part. That isn't the part I can't tell about.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
Let's see. Toko
I got it. The
is
mastermind
a
just
serial
wants
killer
bodies to
who's
get
also an
more
author,
evidence.
and they have a split
If they
personality,
wanted to do that, they would have destroyed
but they don't
Mukuro's
actually
body,
end up killing
since they
anyone
actually
in the
killed
game.
her. And
Kyoko
her body
is
was
a
left
rash but
alone.
smart and confident detective.
Whose body disappeared? It may
Byakuya,
very well be.
all you can really say
None
about
of
him,
them
I don't think he
disappeared.
has a job,
And
is
if
that
that's
he's
true,
rich, smart,
then why doesn't the
and
body
arrogant.
count match? Including
And we have
Monokuma's
Makoto.
executions, there have
Let's just
apparently
say
been
they're
10
a
deaths.
hopeful
There
sheep
are only 9 bodies. That's the
normie.
point I'm trying to make.
Then finally,
Completely
we have
lost.
Junko,
How can the
which
number of
is
victims be less than
her
the
cover
number
is
of
a
victims?
fashionista, and she is the ultimate despair who causes all of the events to go down in the game. The story of the game, let me give you a synopsis. This includes spoilers, by the way, so if you don't want to hear the story, then skip on ahead. I'll probably put timestamps in for the review so you can skip to the next section is characters, and those might have spoilers too anyway, so you might want to just skip this video if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay, so for the story, there is a high school where the purpose of this high school is to nurture teen students who have the most unique talents. Specifically, I guess since this takes place in Japan, it's limited to people in Japan. There are antagonist student siblings called Junko and Mukuro who convince much of the world that there is no point in life or maintaining society. The headmaster secures the students in the school but doesn't know his true enemy is killed. He doesn't know his true enemy and is killed by them. Junko and Mukuro wipe the other students' memories and force them to play a killing game by telling them that they need to kill to escape. Some students kill other students, some students get killed, including the murder of Mukuro by Junko, which that's a major story spoiler for the end. Some students are executed at the class trial if they are caught by the students. And a few of the students survive to kill their enemy, aka Junko, because Mukuro is already dead at this point, and escape. And that's my review for Danganronpa 1. I do heartily recommend it. and thanks for listening and watching.